I got your nice little pillow
Yeah,
here.
that's my girl.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of In the Green Room. I am so excited that you are here again. Y'all know I'm Brittany Shanae, your favorite podcaster. And if I'm not now, I will be soon. I know y'all can see I'm not sitting here by myself. There's a lovely lady to my right, to your left, or whatever side of the screen you looking at. You know, sometimes we don't know right from left, but that's all right. Okay. So I have my girl Summyr Wright-Nelson in here.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you for having me.
No problem, girl.
Yes,
It's honestly crazy to say Summyr Wright-Nelson.
I know.
Got an extra name on your name.
I
now.
do. I used to be Summer Shepherd.
Yeah. And
Like
here we are.
Yeah. Holy person.
Thank you for coming so much. I appreciate you so much.
You're welcome.
Like, I'm so grateful to be able to reach back and commune and have conversations about growth with people that I knew when we met young.
Yeah.
I was in the 8th grade when you came in, I want to say. We're 2 years apart. Because what year you came out?
2011.
Yes, so we're 2 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that, 14 and 12?
Yeah. 14 and 12. That is crazy. That is really crazy.
And here we are, grown.
Mm-hmm.
Living in it, in the thick of it. Nah, for real. Yes. Here we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate you again. I'm gonna say it probably a few more times
That's
during the recording, but
That's all right.
I'm really grateful that you made this truck down here in this rain.
Oh no, I had to come.
Yeah.
We're gonna get here, rain or shine.
Yes.
Yeah.
So y'all know I start every episode with our affirmation station. We got 2 sets of affirmation cards. We got our Danessa Myers cards, and we got, I think it's called, I Am Everything. So if y'all have been tuned in, I'm sure you have because you love me. Since season 1, I started on my personal Instagram page, just shuffling these cards up, pulling the affirmation from each deck or more, whatever comes out, just so we can have a little something that give us a little pep in our step.
Yeah.
So what I like to do on the episodes is have my guests pull an affirmation card from each deck. So I'm just gonna shuffle them up just so you can get a good random draw.
Okay.
And this is gonna be our affirmation that leads us through the week.
Oh.
So you are setting the tone.
I am setting the tone.
Yes.
Okay, I am excited. Let's do it.
All right. And something that I found with every guest, the card that they pull is the card that they need.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, Lord,
yeah.
come on.
I have these books. I can't think of the name of them, but they have scriptures and they have like text, and I just randomly open it up, and it's always
what you need.
Like, and even if I can't identify the need for it right in that second, it usually comes up like, oh God, that's what you was talking about. Oh, I see. I understand. All right, so this first deck, like I said, this is our Danessa Myers Transcend Beauty. This is a deck for the artist.
Okay. Oh.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
Any type of, like, I feel like if you are an artist, these cards are for you and you need them. All right.
Okay.
So which card are you going to pull? Found it. Okay. All right.
Can I look?
Okay. Go ahead and read it to the people.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I attract prosperity and abundance effortlessly. Oh my God. Yeah. Yes.
Receive.
Absolutely receive.
Yeah.
I've been praying about this.
Come on.
I've been literally like, God.
Yeah.
I'm asking for abundance that overexceeds what I can even think or imagine. Abundance that overflows and flows onto everyone close to me. Even the people that don't know me, God, when they see me, they see you and they just want to come near to you. Like, This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. Y'all don't even know.
It be hitting the nail right on the head. Right on the head.
Yeah.
All right. So you gonna hold on to that card? That's your card.
Oh, that's my card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So let us see what your second affirmation gonna be. Y'all ain't know I was a rapper, did you? You know, Dr. Seuss said.
Multi-talented. Okay.
Told y'all.
Okay. So I'm gonna read the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
I am discerning. I love myself enough to say no to people and situations that don't serve my highest good. I am discerning. I have had this gift since I was a little girl. I have the gift of discernment.
Yeah.
Yeah. No matter what room you throw me in, you could be a pastor.
Yeah.
And I can discern whether or not you really hear from God.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could be talking all that noise. And everybody else like, yes. And I'm like, my spirit is not sitting right. I'm not discerning that this is God. But yeah.
So read both of them to the people.
Okay. So the first card was, I attract prosperity and abundance effortlessly.
Effortlessly.
Keyword. Effortlessly. Okay. Say that 10 times. The second card, I am discerning. I love myself enough to say no to people and situations that don't serve my highest good. I am discerning.
You know how you get clarity on your discernment? Being still and quiet.
Yes.
Be quiet.
Shh. Yeah.
Nah, for real. That's I didn't understand what discernment was growing up, but my intuition has always been loud. I didn't understand what my intuition was, but growing up, I'm like, oh, that was God talking. Yeah, loudly. Yeah. In that gut feeling and twitching of the eye, a headache, a uneasiness, a
like the pit of your stomach dropping.
Yeah.
Little queasiness. Yeah.
Discernment, guys. Listen, please.
Yes.
I attract prosperity and abundance effortlessly. And I am discerning. Those are our affirmations of the week. I was about to say of the day. Of the week. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of In the Green Room. I can't wait to share this conversation with me and Summyr. Stay tuned. Sometimes God tests you when you close to the next chapter. Sure do.
Yes, it does. That's what the sermon was kind of about, what we listened to this morning.
Really? Listen.
How you get like really, what is it? Uncomfortable or dissatisfied with where you're at. And it's like, all right, God, what's the strategy? Because he's going to give you a strategy to get out of it. But you gotta desire that. You gotta desire more and accept it.
Girl.
Yeah, like, okay. All right, it's happening.
Woo!
Yeah.
That'll preach. That'll preach.
Yeah.
Again, welcome to this episode of In the Green Room. We got my girl Summyr.
What's up?
In Biz Naive. You know what I'm talking about with Ms. Naive. I don't know where they came from. But we're here. Again, thank you for coming to sit with me in my creative space. I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't invite people that I love and appreciate into this space. I feel like it's a necessary.
Honey, it's a vibe.
Like when you come in here, if I'm stressed out, if I'm annoyed, if I'm any type of negative emotion that you can think of, if I'm feeling any of those things, I come in here, I either sit on this couch or the brown couch over there. And within seconds, I feel like I'm back. Wow. I'm back. Like, I think my plants are responsible. Also the amount of windows, because I get a lot of sun. Like, I'm huge on getting the vitamin D that I need.
Yes.
We need it.
Yes.
We need it.
Yes.
We need it.
Yeah.
But again, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Your space, it feels very intentional.
Yes.
It feels very you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole vibe. Like, immediately I walked in, I said, "Oh, yes." Like, I can kick back, relax.
Yes.
I can take my shoes off.
Yes.
Yeah. You're like, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, the plants, the fresh air that they bring in, like, this is just, I'm just so thrilled to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, girl.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like I know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like I know who you were,
mm-hmm.
because we essentially grew up together, going to the same school. We spent a lot of time at John S. Davis Fine Arts Magnet.
Yes, we did.
Discovering our talents, I feel like it was that was the first discovery of who we were.
Mm-hmm.
I call it my Pepper Ann phase. Do you remember the show Pepper Ann?
A little bit, not that much.
Well, Pepper Ann was this quirky, like.
Did she have two ponytails?
Did Pepper Ann have two? Pepper Ann was it used to come on one Saturday morning. It was a Disney show. I'm taking it all the way back.
Oh, you are.
One Saturday morning. No, I've been in my feeding my inner child bag lately.
Have you?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. And it's been coming up literally like every day. But Pepper Ann was this quirky middle schooler that had her beliefs about certain things, but because she was a teenager, sometimes they would shift based on the popular kids, but she would always find herself back to what Pepper Ann want and what Pepper Ann needed. Yeah. So I feel like that middle school, high school phase was us kind of figuring it out,
like experimenting.
Like we okay, I think that's who I want to be for real. Yeah. Let me hone in on that and see. So I feel like we were around each other in that age, but then I graduated, then you graduated, then I went to college, you went to college. We went our separate ways, and gratefully we're back here. So tell me and tell the audience, who is Summyr?
Okay. You're right. I believe when you came on our podcast, you were like, man, there's so many avenues to go down when someone asks you that question. So I'm going to just start from here. So I'm Summyr. I am a kid who grew up in Augusta, Georgia. I was raised by a single mom, but I had a village of family that would chip in and help when they could and how they could. I would ride the bus to my great grandmother's house because I actually didn't live in the zone area for most of the schools I went to. Wow. But my mom wanted me to have the opportunity to have the best education I could. So straight out preschool, she sent me to a Montessori school so that I could get advanced as I could. And then after that, she had me audition for C.T. Walker Magnet School.
Can I pause right there?
Yeah.
I got accepted into C.T. Walker my senior year at Davidson.
What? Huh? How that work?
I was on the wait list.
Oh, no. Because it's literally like kindergarten, 8th grade.
I got an acceptance letter my senior year at Davidson. Like how, but...
What?
Go ahead.
Somebody need to be fired.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what? No. But yeah, well, I ended up going to C.T. Walker. And so there, I just, it's a magnet school, so it wasn't like a performing arts school, yet, but we still had performances. And I realized, wow, I really love to be on stage. And so my mom, she would see me at home. I would watch a television show or a movie, and then I would go into my bedroom and be in the bathroom mirror or my bedroom mirror And I'm reenacting scenes from films and television. When songs would come on, I act like I was Erykah Badu or Alicia Keys.
Yeah.
And then like MTV Jams was around and VH1 Soul. So I'm watching all these music videos, and then I am learning the choreography and acting like I'm in the video.
Yeah.
And so my mom was like, okay, you need to audition for Davidson.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't want to go because I was like, Mom, I don't want to leave my friends. And this is what, going into fifth grade and going into sixth. She was like, girl, if they're your friends, they'll be your friends if you go to a different school. So I was like, okay. I auditioned. I met my best friend at my audition, Alexis. And then I'm so glad my mom pushed me to do that, because that's when I learned to be fearless.
Yeah.
I learned to be bold, and I realized what was inside of me. I had no problem jumping on the stage to do what they asked me to do for acting. And then we go to dance class. I'm okay, you drew this shape, I'm going to move like this. Yeah. And so I started to learn the gifts that God placed inside of me. And so at Davidson, I learned to be bold and more fearless and to fall deeper in love with performing arts. I remember I even did something as bold as to skip levels of the acting class, because I realized, man, I think I want to lean more into that side of things. I was really focusing on dance for a while, and then I made a proposition to skip levels to the acting teacher, and I excelled. So I was like, oh, this is it. I'm good for real. Yeah. And my great grandmother helped me prepare for that. And to this day, well, no, not to this day, she's passed, but she's always told me, she's always asked me this one question. She's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And before I can answer, she's like, a movie star? And I'm like, yes.
She already knew.
She knew. She's been putting this inside of me since she knew what I wanted to do. And she just saw me.
Yeah.
She just saw me.
Yeah.
Even when she had dementia and she started losing her memory, she still would ask me that question. Yeah, so she passed. And so she is one of my greatest supporters, and I know I got to make it. But anyway, so I, after Davidson, I then went on to college. And from there, I had plans to go to Atlanta. But before that, actually, I didn't want to go to school. I was just going to be on So You Think You Can Dance, and I was going to move to LA.
No, So You Think You Can Dance?
That show was
show.
Yes, it was. It was fire.
Yes.
Bruh. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to be on this show, and I'm going to sleep in my car. And somebody talked sense. Somebody talked some sense into me, and I'm so glad they did, because I went to school. And I ended up meeting my husband there. But I also thought my dream was forgotten, because I ended up not going to the school that I wanted to. Right. I got into this horrible car accident that rerouted my entire life. I was going to go to Kennesaw State here close to Atlanta, but God had other plans. Yeah. Literally, if I hadn't got into that accident, I probably would have lived a totally different life after high school. Yeah, and I feel like I just wasn't prepared. Like, it wasn't the time. God needed me to continue. He needed me to be closer to my family and to my roots, to keep molding me so that I can handle what he has for me.
Did you understand that then?
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I thought my life was over. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Like, I cried my eyes out. I was like, why is this happening to me? Because up until that point, things had always gone the way I thought they would. Yeah. So, and so, when that happened, I rerouted. I stayed in Augusta. Then I thought my dream was forgotten. I took like an acting class, and I was like, this isn't challenging me. And then I was just like, I'm just not going to do this anymore. Yeah. And while I was in college, towards the end of school, I think it was like a year before I was about to graduate, I found the film and television department. How I didn't know it was there the whole time, like, I don't know. Right. But I took a course and I fell in love with film and television. I was like, wow, like, this is something new. And I always love to be challenged. Yeah. Like, I don't like, you know how you can be good at something, but you're like, well, I ain't where I need to be. So obviously there's something more. Yep. And so I felt challenged. So I took that course. I learned how you have to play smaller for camera. Like, you can't be as big as you are in theater and on stage. Like, you have to hone it all in. And that was such that was so thrilling to me.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was like, oh, it just started to wake up again. The gift right before I'm about to graduate. I ended up doing a one-woman show after that. I wrote it and directed it. And then I was in a play, moved to New York, got flat broke, moved back home. I feel like I'm telling my life story. But
No, do it.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Yeah. So flat broke, moved back to Augusta. I was like, my life is over again.
Yeah.
And I was so like ashamed. I remember feeling so ashamed and like a failure. I was like, how am I here? People have such high expectations for me. I'm not living up to what people think about me. You know, all these things. And God humbled me. Yeah. He brought me back home and I learned who he was as an adult for myself. Like I literally would go have lunch in the park with God. I'm like, all right, God, let's go have lunch.
Yeah.
I'm here with you. What you want me to say? Like, what do you want to say to me? Like, what are we doing? And he dealt with me.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that time. I thought my life was over, but it really wasn't. It was turning over a new leaf. And he's like, you're not in control. Like, you got to get that out your head. You're not me. You are not me. And I don't move in patterns. I move in the way that I have designed your life to be. And he's going to put you in certain situations to get rid of the things that you can't take with you. Like if he's showing you the vision for what your life will be or what he's going to give you, you have to be the person that can handle it. And I couldn't handle that with my fragile self at that time, thinking I'm something and wasn't. I had to get rid of a lot. Like I had to deal with a lot. A lot of stuff I didn't even know. And so, and then I ended up moving to DC again, thinking I had a broken or forgotten dream again. It was just this on and off thing with me and my creative side. And so when I got to DC, I got this random call from this guy and he wanted to manage me. And I'm like, has he ever seen me act ever? But I feel like God just needed to choose somebody to just say, get this girl back into something. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, like you have to keep going. I did not tell you to stop. I'm just rerouting you. I'm just teaching you. And so he ended up telling me, you need to find something that you can do in DC because, you know, New York is New York and that's far, and you keep coming back and forth to Atlanta, but you're in DC. And so I found an acting studio, ended up being 15 minutes from where I was living. And the rest is history. Like my dream woke all the way up when I found that studio. Like I came in that class and he was like, oh, where do you study? Like where? I was like, well, I'm coming here. I'm trying to study here. He was like, oh my God, like you're amazing. And I just needed that word of affirmation. I just needed that little extra. We need that sometimes. And
affirmation station.
Okay. And so, after that, I was like, I got to keep going. And that's when I kind of like gave myself grace for where I had been, but learning that God did all that to bring me to where I am. And after DC, I ended up coming here. I'm back in Atlanta where I wanted to be 10 years ago.
He don't forget.
That's like a 10-year reroute, but so much happened within that time. Like got married, lost a child, had another child, bought a house, sold a house.
Lot of life.
It's
a lot of life.
So much in between that, but I'm here.
But God is funny in that he hear you the first time. You know how people be like, I heard you the first time. I heard you the first time. You ain't got to tell me no more. And if your intentions are pure and clear when you ask God and declare to God what it is you want, he hears you. He really does. It's so funny. I always say, especially when I'm pulling my affirmation cards, I say, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to me. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to us. I'm talking to we. Because it's funny how God will just bring them things right back around. Like everything that you're talking about, I've been through that season before, and I think I'm in that season again now. So if I cry, I cry. You know that it is what it is. My podcast. I can do what I want to. It's my podcast. I can do what I want to. You know what I'm saying? But like it's I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason and everything is in God's divine plan. It's obvious that you needed to be back in Augusta to do what you needed to do, despite the shame, despite all of these carnal and human things that we're feeling.
Yeah.
Like the human side of us is like, it's so dangerous because it's so easy to give into the human, although you know what God said he was going to do.
Say it.
Over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
Even when it don't feel like, even when it seemed like you at the very end, what else? What we God? What
more can I say?
Hello. I know I'm strong. I know you put me here to be strong, but I don't want to take on all that. No.
Another thing?
Right.
Yeah.
But you know, God is funny. I say it all the time. God funny. God be up there cackling.
Wait.
Yeah.
Because
you up here telling me what I'm
gonna do. That girl is hilarious.
That girl,
look at her. Look
crazy.
At her.
So did you recognize, because from the way that I hear you speak, I love hearing you talk about God. Because I understand the amount of faith that you have. Because I've been on a faith walk for a very, very long time, even when I didn't understand what it was.
Yeah.
So did you know when you were young that you were one of his chosen?
Yes.
Because you are.
Yeah.
You definitely are.
Thank you.
It's obvious that you are.
Wow.
Matthew 5:16 is one of my favorite Bible verses. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. None of this stuff that I do here on this earth is for me.
No.
Ain't none of it. None of it. And people, my favorite compliment is when people tell me that I feel like sunshine or I'm like a light or because I know that I'm living Matthew 5:16 to its fullest extent.
Yes.
And so when God shines a light on you and through you, you can easily see when he's doing it in another person.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say, like, I can confidently say that you are a favorite and you are one of God's chosen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, did you feel like early on?
Yeah, so I did. And to touch on this real quick, I believe that's why I also was attracted to wanting to talk to you when I came here. I was like, every time I see you, even on Instagram, but like when I ran into you, I'm like, I think you make people excited. Yeah, when you walk into the room. And it's what you said. Because yes, I knew. And I'm not saying it in a cocky way.
Yeah.
But like I knew because I have been after God's heart and wanting his light all over me since I was young. Like my mom and my grandmother, from the smallest thing, they would lose things in the house, but they would tell me to go ask God where it was. And I would go find it because he would show me where it was. Yep. Because I've always
flashlight, the light.
Yeah. I have always talked to God. I have always been infatuated, just loving God.
Yeah.
Like you know, I mean, there have been times where I strayed away. Now, let's get that straight. I ain't saying that I didn't walk.
Human part that I was talking about.
I'm definitely not saying that I've walked every day and like been praying every single day. I have fallen short many times. But I have always wanted to be God's favorite.
Yeah.
I've always told him, don't take your light off me. Don't take your hands off me. I thank you for the favor, because I can't wait to get into a room with somebody, talk one-on-one, and tell them how great he is, or share my experiences just because we're having a conversation and, oh my God, I can relate to that.
Yep.
Well, let me tell you how God got me through that. And I bring him up in almost every conversation I have, and not because I'm trying to push it onto somebody. It's just that I can't help it. You know what I'm saying? He's such a huge part of who I am, and I can't, honestly, I don't know how to make decisions without God. Like, as far as I've gotten, it's because I've talked to him and I'm asking, Holy Spirit, what do I do? Like, how do I move? What do I say? You know, and so far it's worked out. And if I have made the wrong decision, he's given the opportunity for it to still work out for my good and for it to reroute. So, like, even I remember when I moved to DC, I got a job that I literally didn't know what that was. I had never heard of a case manager, but somehow I got the job. I moved there, and I'm like, why am I here? And in DC, of all places, you know, thank God, my husband, then boyfriend, but he had just moved back. So it was like perfect timing for us. It was also like, y'all need to be together because I got an assignment for y'all together. Y'all need to go and get married. God be knowing, because I didn't even know I was going to get married. That was not in my plan. But he knew I needed a partner. Anyway, so I moved to DC, got this job, and I realized it was for the people. All the stuff I had went through before I got there, it helped me relate to these people. I'm like literally working in this area where a lot of the kids that we were working with, they didn't have much, or they grew up in like really, you know, not so good situations. And you may look at me and not think that I've been through much, but I'm talking to you one-on-one, and I can relate to where you've been. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what it's like to be hungry sometimes. Like, I know what it's like to struggle. But also, I know what it's like just to be human. You know what I'm saying? Like, despite all of that. And so it was really cool. And not only them, but my coworkers. They would literally flock to my desk every day. And I had a coworker tell me, like, she wasn't as close to God until I got there. Like, she was thinking like that just was a distant thing until I showed up. And she's like, you're so righteous. And I'm like, girl, not for me. She was like, no, like, you have literally, I don't know if you're like an angel or what, but you literally just showed me who he was and that he still loves me. People that were like doing some things that are unimaginable or have done things. And I'm like, I'm not here to judge you. I'm pointing them to sermons. I'm literally like just doing his work right at my desk. It wasn't even about the job itself, but it was them. And I was so grateful. I'm like, oh my God, he's literally using me. And I could no longer complain about what I thought I wanted. I'm like, I really got to go where he tells me to, and just trust that. And so now I've also just realized, like, I know he just puts me in certain situations in rooms with certain people just to lead them closer to him.
And the territory is always being enlarged. Even if it seems small, you're still growing. You're still spreading the word. You're still ministering to people without even, you know, people, when they hear the word minister, they feel like you preaching that. And so many people have said to me, like, girl, you okay. Okay. All right, Pastor. Like, no, I'm not. I ain't there. But listen, I will, that's a serious one. You know, I do. It's all in how you live. Like, and again, we are human. So I think that's the beauty of it, though. because a lot of times people feel like outreach and spreading the word is going out with a Bible in your hand and saying, hey, like the Jehovah's Witnesses do.
Uh-huh.
Oh, they came and knocked on my door on a Thursday.
Oh my God. Okay.
A Thursday? A Thursday. Come on now. Like, why? Anyway, I love the Lord.
Yes.
But
anyway. They do too. But I think they're, practices just...
They're different. But people think that that's what ministry is. The only way that it exists. Mm-hmm. No. Yeah. Show up and be you. Mm-hmm. And if God's light is shining through you, people are going to see it and people are going to be attracted to it no matter what. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that that's the most special part about being chosen, being special, being me, being you, you know what I'm saying? Because we're actually able to just live and people recognize. Because, I mean, like you set us up, you let us know some of the things that you've been through and that, in that 10-year process. So you got married. Let's talk about that first.
Okay.
What was that? Because how old were you, if you don't mind me asking, when you got married?
Oh, I think I was, hold on, that was 3 years ago. I'm 30. 27.
Okay. So, young.
Yeah.
What was that? Did it scare you at first? Because you said you didn't know that you were going to get married. You didn't know that.
Yeah, that was not in my plan. Yeah. Not at all. Like, I just, not that I didn't want to ever. I just was never the girl who fantasized their wedding and their dress and planned that whole thing. And I gotta have the white picket fence with the house and the dog and the kids and no, that wasn't me. Like, I was really focused on what I wanted to achieve in life. And so it wasn't scary because God showed me that I had the right person. Literally.
Okay.
We met when I was 18, he was 19.
Okay.
So he's a year older than me. And he's literally my best friend. Yeah. Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
Top level.
Top tier. And he's the first person I actually really took serious when we decided to actually date. And so we grew up together. Yeah. It feels like at that chapter in my life, it was like, okay, now you're growing into an adult. Yeah. Like, I'm leaving my childish ways behind. I'm still a little childish because I'm goofy and
that's okay,
but whatever. Like, I think that's good.
As we all are. Yeah.
And so and then when we decided to get married, I mean, we dated for so long, like 8 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because we were kids. Yeah. So what was the rush? Yeah. And when he asked, like, literally it was a Christmas Day. Yeah, it was Christmas Day, like 2018. And I was telling him who I was trying to become. I was sad because I wasn't where I wanted to be. And I wanted to be home. It was just all these factors. And so I'm always visualizing. I'm always closing my eyes like, okay, Lord, show me where I'm going to be. Like, that gives me hope. It helps me to keep going. And so I was like, this is the woman I'm going to be in like 5 years. And he was like, well, what does the woman look like? And what's she doing? I was like, okay, hold on, let me close my eyes. We in the car.
Real vision.
Yeah. I said, let me close my eyes. I was like, okay. And I kid you not, as soon as I closed my eyes, God showed me in a room by myself in a wedding dress, looking in a mirror. And I heard the ocean in the background. And the sun was beaming inside of this room. The room was like super clean and it was super peaceful. And I'm just looking at myself in my wedding dress, and I'm explaining all of this to him as I'm visualizing it. That wasn't scary to talk about because we had been together for a long time.
Yeah.
And so I guess by that time, once I opened my eyes, he had parked and he had the ring right there. Yeah, he did. And I was like, what? Like, will you marry me? And I was like, what? Whoa, like this is crazy. Like there's no way. I'm like, how did this happen? And I know that is when I knew, like, you can't tell me this isn't the person God has for me, because he literally gave me a vision. And then he has the ring. He had the ring on him the whole day. Like, I can't make this up.
Let me break the fourth wall. Were you going to propose to her that day, or you just had it on you? You was just carrying it.
Yeah, because Summyr told me that when I was going to propose, she didn't want to do it unless her family can be there, or it was just going to be me and her. She started explaining everything. I was like,
"This is the time."
The perfect time. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
You had the boo boo, didn't you?
Yeah.
Probably would have had the bubble guts.
Okay.
We've been together for so long. Like
right.
So like, I didn't feel like pressure or anything like that. You know, it was just organic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So that's I believe that God had to do it like that.
Yeah.
Because he needed me to be sure, because of the way that I would think sometimes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
He needed me to know for sure this is who I have called you to be with. And so no matter what life brings at you all, don't question it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is your person.
Yeah.
This is your person. And so I have held on to that. So that's my story. That's why I wasn't nervous getting married to him, because I knew this is who I was supposed to be with. I knew. Yeah, I was like, oh, well, this is going to work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
That's when you know, you know.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of those when you know, you know.
For sure. And we went to premarital counseling and all of that. And I think that's important, because I was nervous. I thought the pastor was going to be, and this is, even though this I knew, I still thought, like, pastor going to be like, y'all need to be together.
Yeah. It's a human. That's the human part.
Yeah. But then I'm going to go back to be like, well, God, show me this vision. You know, but he never once. He even was like, y'all gonna inspire so many couples. I'm like, we just told you so much that shouldn't be. Yeah. And he was like, y'all went through stuff for a reason. I said, oh, okay.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and sit down.
Yeah. But
yeah. Girl. I love that.
Yeah, me too.
I love that. God ain't gonna tell you no lie.
He's not. You gotta trust him.
God ain't gonna steer you the wrong way. God ain't gonna. Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. And I love the piece about y'all being best friends.
Yeah.
Like, y'all, of course, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of these things are just a snapshot.
Yeah.
But when you know discernment, you know what I'm saying? You can tell when people ain't happy for real. So let me tell y'all something. People don't be happy. People don't be happy. You can see the joy that y'all have when y'all are around each other. The content that y'all make.
Look at me.
Like,
he's like, this isn't about me.
No, but y'all, it looks like y'all are really enjoying each other.
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
Yeah. I mean, we really do. We really do enjoy each other's company. Now, I mean, come on now. We do argue. We do fight. We do sometimes go to bed and be mad still. And I wake up like, I'm mad.
Yeah.
And I can't continue the day. So let me tell you what's on my mind.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, at the end of it, we're each other's best friends.
Yeah.
So like, I genuinely enjoy being around him.
Yeah.
Like, I am, even after having our daughter, I'm grateful that my mom can be there a lot of times, because it gives us more time together.
Yeah.
Like, we're able to still go on dates, and it still feels like how it was when we first met. So yeah.
So let's talk about, I got some specifics I want to talk about.
Okay. Let me give me a little sip of my little energy drink.
It's crazy because you've really talked about a lot of the questions.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, but without me even asking them. And that's, again, why it's kind of off, but that's why I love the format of this podcast so much, because we're talking, like we relax. This is a setting where I want people to feel comfortable and free to just get it out, it off your chest. You know what I'm saying? Because I had, how did you know that he was the one? Let's talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's right on. And then you addressed a few other things that you've been through in those 10 years, that 10-year journey.
Yeah.
And you wrote a book.
I did. I wrote
called No Love Lost. Let's talk about that.
Okay. So, okay, what's interesting about, first, before I get into the topic of it, writing a book.
Yeah.
God told me I was going to write a book before I even had kids.
Yeah.
And I kept trying to figure out what I was going to write this book about.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe I can make a fitness guide. Like, that's the book. Okay. So I would like write it, and I was like, I can't finish this. Like, I don't have enough content. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know what to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't feel like an expert at it. Just like all these things. And so when this was like a year before I had DJ, our first child, our son. And so after we lost him, I was like, oh, that's what you want me to write about. Yeah. And so that book is so close, it's so near and dear to my heart, but it was an assignment.
Yeah.
It wasn't about me.
Yeah.
Really. Like, it hurt and it was tough, but I knew early on when it happened, even though I was grieving, I kept trying to figure out why. And then it's like, you need to write about it. And I think that was like 2 weeks in, and I'm still mad. I'm like, okay, not right now, but I will.
Yeah.
And I knew, like, I just remember what was so unique about my grieving process, and maybe not unique to people that go through grief, but it was my first time, like, though I lost my great grandmother and she was very close to me, losing your child and your first child and your husband's namesake, like, he's literally named after him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just never knew anyone who had went through a stillbirth. Ever.
It's not talked about.
It's not.
It's not talked about.
It's really not. And then when it happened, people started telling me their story. But I'm like, I never knew that about you.
Yeah.
And so it's something that a lot of people will kind of like put in the closet and lock the door and never unlock it again because it's hard to talk about. And I knew, I was like, oh my God, well, I have to put a voice to it because I got to talk about it. That was how I grieved. I had to talk about it. Whereas a lot of people thought I wouldn't want to. So they would try to avoid the topic altogether. And I'm like, no. Like, it helps to call his name. It helps to go in that room.
That's
like
therapy.
I immersed myself in it. I was like, I'm in this. And I don't know, like, I don't know how I'm going to be after, but I got to go through it. And so I didn't start writing the book until maybe like a month or two after. Maybe 2 months. And then after I got pregnant like 4 months later. Okay. And I really was like, oh, I gotta finish this book before I have her. Like, I don't want to like be writing this book and then I have this rainbow child to take care of. So but literally grieving your child is not something I ever imagined I would have to go through. I thought that I had just got punched in my throat, and thrown off a cliff, and left to hang and dry, because I felt for a while that I wasn't hearing God. That was the first time I really like wanted to throw wells at him. I was like, bruh, like, what did I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can to this day remember coming home from the hospital after finding out that happened, which was really interesting, the roller coaster of emotions from that day, because I remember going in, not ever thinking anything like that's going to happen. The doctor telling me I didn't let her finish. I literally, that sound where it's like this piercing sound? That's what happened. Like, as soon as she started, she touched my leg and she started telling me, everything went silent. And I just heard this piercing sound, and I just started screaming. And I'm like, I'm not going to say the words because that just made me just crumble me. But like, I just literally just started shouting and just saying like, no, like this is not happening. Like, this is not real. Like, no. And then my mom like ran in and grabbed me up. And that's how she found me, actually, in the hospital, because she was going to park the car. She had followed the ambulance to the hospital because my midwife had advised me to call 911 and get into an M&T vehicle, because that would get me through the process a lot quicker. Again, I'm just thinking I'm dehydrated or something. But anyway, so after that happened, I just remember being in that hospital room, like that happening, me being in shock, screaming, like hysterical. Then all of a sudden, all the tears dried up, and I'm staring at the wall in front of me, and I'm comprehending. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening. I'm just like going through the motions. And then I think I just went into like, this can't be real. So like,
denial.
Okay. Yeah. And so they had the people come in, do another scan. I was like, no, you guys have to check again. Like, this isn't, y'all got it wrong. Like, and then they were like, no, absolutely not. And I'm not, okay, I'm just weird. I don't know why I laughed, but just because I'm like, absolutely not. Like, of course you guys got it wrong. Because that's not, that's not happening to me. Not for real.
No.
And so, so then, what happened after that? Oh, my mom calls the pastor. We're all like, they're praying and stuff, but I'm in my own zone because I'm like, Lord, what I got to do? I started doing wild stuff. Like, let me make a video. So I got on my phone, and I'm like, literally, I'm back in tears, but I'm like, okay, maybe God needs me to be like this person who creates a miracle so that people can see that miracles are still happening. I was like, this is that instant. So like, I gotta show people this process, which is real weird. Like, I don't know why that's where my mind went, but I'm like, because this can't be the end.
You're desperate at this point.
Very
you don't
desperate.
know what to do. So you're in fight or flight mode.
Yes.
You're just trying to figure out something.
And that's very much me. Like, I'm always, whenever there's a crisis and you have to go in like fight or flight mode, I'm like, oh, we got to find a solution. Like, we got to find the answer. And most times I do, but in that instance, I had become so desperate. I just thought of whatever. After I did that, I was like, I can't post that. Like, no. And so then I went in the bathroom, I'm like praying, I'm like declaring like, this is not the end. Then my midwife comes, I hear them talking. I'm like, they're definitely talking about me, but obviously. And she's like, I don't know, not agreeing. She's agreeing with the doctors, like, this is the end. But she sees that I'm like not trying to believe this. So she was trying to tread lightly. And then like the nurses came in and they're like crying hysterically. At this point, my tears had dried up again. And I'm like, oh my God, this is too much. Like, oh my, like you're not handling this well. You know what I'm saying? But that was a new hospital. They had never had a situation like that.
Got it.
Wow. It was like the hospital closest to our house at the time. But not the hospital I was originally going to. Anyway, so I remember I ended up laughing with my midwife to go back to my car to meet my mom. And my husband was out of town at the time. He was coming back that day. So this was just a really like interesting dynamic for him to not be there. I don't know, God sometimes allows things to happen a certain way, and it may not have been best for him to be in that moment. I don't know how he would have handled it. He may think that he would have handled it gracefully, but maybe not. Maybe he needed that moment on the plane to himself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, so I'm like, me and my midwife were joking about how overdramatic the nurses were, but I received their heart. But, you know, of course, sometimes, I don't know why, I just always find a moment to laugh. Even in the
sometimes it's necessary.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need just a
little break.
And that laugh. And Black people do it best.
Don't we?
If Black people don't do nothing else, Black people can laugh.
Yeah.
But not to make light of the situation, but sometimes it's necessary.
It is. And even my book is like that. It's written how I talk. Yeah. And with the humor thrown into it. And people that have read it, they're like, oh, I feel like I'm literally listening to you. I'm like, because just how my brain works. But anyway, then I get home and I am distraught. Yeah. You know?
Because I'm sure you went home and you saw all the preparation.
I didn't even look in that room. I just went into my bedroom and I went upstairs. I think I was going to take a shower, but I went upstairs by myself. And I just started thinking. Yeah. And I got angry. Yeah. I went through every stage of grief in that one day. And then after actually delivering him, it's like I went through it slowly all over again, like maybe a week at a time. And so it was just a range of emotions. But I had never been that angry with God ever. But it's like he took it. I don't even think I remember hearing him say it's gonna be okay or anything like that. I just was going through all the emotions, and then I had to deliver him. That was a 5-day process after that. It's like everything sped up really quickly, and I had to make a lot of decisions. We had to make a lot of decisions super quick. And now I'm thinking about my life.
I was about to ask you, was your life in jeopardy?
It could have been. Had I waited too long, because now I have a deteriorating baby inside. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're in a sack of water. What happens when you're in water for a long time? You start to your fingers get shriveled up. So that's what was happening, you know? And so I end up, my whole birth plan was just blown away. And so I had to like reroute, and I had so many maternal health concerns in that hospital. I really believe that Black women are not treated equally. It took someone that was of Middle Eastern descent to come in and get that team together, because I was about to walk out on like the 4th day being there. I was like, I don't feel safe. Yeah. Like, I remember one of the doctors came in and he was like, I mean, what do you want me to do? And I was like, what? I said, you're the doctor. Like, what you mean? He was like, I mean, do you want me to give you a C-section? I mean, if you want to do that, we can do that. I said, oh, okay. Like, I don't feel safe here. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I need a minute. Yeah. Because I'm about to get up.
And you need to get out.
Yeah.
Get out.
I was like, oh, I have to leave. And I remember like my mom and Devin, they were in the room, but they weren't saying anything. And I was kind of pissed at that, because I was like, y'all ain't saying nothing. Like, y'all, you know. And I think they were trying to process everything that was happening. I know Devin was mad after we talked about it. He was like, I mean, I had to process it because I was about to jump on his ass. Yeah. Like, oh, can I? Yeah. Oh, okay. And like my mom, she was like stunned. So she's trying to process it too. And like, okay, who can I call to get some advice? But I just remember sitting there in that hospital bed, and I had to come to stillness. Yep. And I was like, God, why? Yeah. Here we are, another decision. This is very hard. I'm like, I could literally die. And I'm like, if I get up, I don't know what's going to happen to me, because at this point I had been on so much medication to try to get my body to trick itself into birthing this child. And I just didn't know what would happen. And so I'm like, God, what do I do? And at first I felt like I wasn't hearing anything. So I just like sat there, just staring at the wall. And then I saw a vision of 2 paths. And I was like, oh, okay. One path looks like yellow and golden. Like I can go down this path. And the other path looked kind of dark. And I was like, I really could go down that path. Mm-hmm. And I see how people might turn away from him if they come to this part of life. I was like, I see, and I get it, but I can't.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in that hospital bed, and that's when I made a decision. I was like, God, I'm so mad, but I cannot turn my back on you.
Yep.
Like, I can't. I trust you. I still trust you. Yeah. I'm so frustrated, but I still trust you. And so I just said, I was just like, I'm not going to do anything. Why would I make a decision if he didn't say anything? And I think all he needed me to do was sit. Yeah. Just be still. Just wait.
I said at the beginning of this episode, y'all better listen.
Mm-hmm. He was like, just sit down. You know, like be still. Yeah. Be still. If I didn't tell you to move, don't go nowhere. So I did that, and then the shift changed, and this new doctor came on, and she got them nurses together, that staff together. She came in. She said, do what I told you to do. Yeah. If I need you to go do this, I need you to do it now. Don't wait. And I was like, oh, she's taking this serious. She's looking at my birth plan. She's like, okay, yeah, we can do that. We can do that. Okay, we're going to up your dosage. Okay, we're going to do this, this, and that. I started praying. I said, oh my God. I was like, oh, she cared. Yeah. Like, and I was like, Lord, I have to go into labor under her care. Yeah. And lo and behold, I did. Yeah. And it was actually a very peaceful birth. Yeah. Despite what the outcome was. We had hope the entire time. So, I mean, for me, it was going in and out. I was like, sometimes I had hope. Sometimes I'm like, he ain't here. Yeah. But after he came out, he was like, nah, like, yeah, this the end for real. So, yeah, I didn't cry, which was interesting. I just felt like relief of some sort. Yeah. Yeah. Just in the moment, I think of just like, okay, I just gave birth. So that part is over. Mm-hmm. But it didn't hit me until we left the hospital and I'm rolling out in this wheelchair and I have no child. Yeah. Yeah. And we get in a car and we both broke down. Yeah. Like turn on the radio, I'm looking in the back, ain't no car seat. Yeah. Ain't no kid. Yeah. This is not how it's supposed to go. Mm-hmm. And I have to go back home and deal with seeing all the preparation, having to heal, still go through all the postpartum stuff. Milk is coming in, like I gotta dry that up. I don't want to see that, you know. And now dealing with the reality of this is a part of my story, and people are gonna ask me, "How's your son?" and how's all that going that haven't seen me? And it started happening, like questions. I started getting DMs. Oh, I haven't seen you on Instagram. Like, because we were sharing so much. We like doing TikTok dances with the belly. Like, you know, people were waiting on this kid to come. And not even just people on social media, but like just family and friends. We actually had a baby shower, a second baby shower that day that I delivered him. And that didn't hit me until we were getting ready to leave, and I'm like, oh my God, people are showing up to this venue. Somebody has to let them know that there's no celebration. Wow. Yeah, that was pretty wild. And that's when my grieving process started. But anyway, I say all that to come around to say, like, though I went through all of that, I know that there was purpose behind it. I had a therapist tell me, well, no, certain things just happen to people sometimes and there's no explanation. I was like,
but the God I serve.
Yeah, that's that discernment. Yeah, it's like, like, you've been a great therapist through the rest of it, but that statement there, I don't agree with. Yeah. Like, I don't agree. I believe that God does have a purpose in everything that he allows you to go through. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with you. Correct. But he knows you can handle it. Because there's somebody else that can't handle it. And if they see you or they talk to you, you'll give them the strength to make it through. And that is what happened. Yeah. I would get DMs from women who were literally in the hospital about to go through the same thing, and they didn't know what they were going to do. Right. They didn't know how they were going to make it. And I had to be an encourager. And whoa, that's okay, I just realized that's one of my spiritual gifts. Exhortation, which is like the gift of encouragement. And I'm like, okay, this is why I've been through so many hard things. Yeah, like, because God is like, I know that you can encourage someone to get through those hard things that they're going through. So because I know you have the strength to do it and you're going to come to me to get through it, I need you to lead somebody else to do the same. And you can handle it. You can handle it. I mean, it's it's hard.
Right.
But you
only gonna put enough on you that you can bear. We know the old saying.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that cliche you got tired of hearing. I'm sure. I'm certain
you're so
that like, because I just tweeted today, it sucks sometimes being the successful or strong one, because when you tell people that you're struggling, they don't take it seriously. I'm human just like you human. Just because I got a little bit of extra armor on me, that does not negate the fact that I too need help. I too need encouragement. I too need all of these things that I'm giving to you. Understand that there are times where I'm not going to be able to do that. When you posted on social about it, what was that moment? Because of course, I'm sure your family and your closest friends knew, the people that had been by your side during that. But now yes, you have people that follow you and they seek encouragement and all of those things. And you got people that truly are there. But now you're about to share something with the world. And that can be scary. Because now every eye is gonna see. There's potential for judgment. There could be shame. I can't speak to when I want you to speak to it, but all of these different emotions and anxieties, I can only imagine went through your brain before letting people know. What was that process?
I remember, I think this was like at the 7-week mark postpartum. And I believe, and my best friend had just came to spend like a few days, like the weekend with me. And she helped me rearrange my space. She helped me complete my space because I had so much that was unfinished that I didn't put up, that I needed to add. And just to have a space that was a vibe like this, and that was me, that I could like feel renewed in and safe in and creative in and comfortable. And I remember she left and I just felt, I was like, okay, I feel like a little bit of weight just lifted off. And I want to share. I just had the desire to share because I knew that it may help somebody. And that's how I would always process things, no matter how hard it still was at the time. I was like, I believe I have a duty to share this. And I don't think that's everybody's calling to do that, but I know that God told me to use my voice.
So I'm going to listen.
So that's what I did. And I shared it in the way that I thought best honored what happened. And my son, because I still wanted it to feel like celebration in a way, because still his life, he lived. He was here. He lived in my belly. I brought him to the earth. He just went back to heaven sooner than a lot of us. God wanted him back. He called him back. He's like, I want my son. He can't be here with you guys. But he served his purpose for the amount of time he was here. So I needed to share his life, and I needed people to know, like, he existed, and I'm not hiding from it. I'm just going to keep moving and keep living my life. But this is what happened.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What was, I'm sure it's going to be hard to explain, but together, what did that grieving process look like? Because you carried, but Devin is a huge part. Both of y'all, you know, y'all went through an extreme loss. What was the process for the both of you all in the aftermath, the postpartum?
Yeah, very different. It was very different. We had very different styles of dealing with grief. While I was healing up, he needed to still do things. Yeah. Devin is not like, I'm gonna sit still. I kind of had to because I couldn't do much. I'm bleeding out my vagina. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of things. And so I'm just grateful. Like, my mom was there, so she kind of like helped me, gave me extra hands, which kind of gave him liberty to still go to the gym. Yeah. Go play basketball. Yeah. Go out to eat with this friend who came in and was like, I want to take you somewhere. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just to like keep him in motion. Yeah. And I realized through therapy actually that that was his process. Yeah. He needed to keep moving. Yep. He wasn't ready to like just deal with it head on. Yeah. Because he still had to be, so, you know, we've talked, like, he needed to still be strong for me. Yes. And I hated that because I was like, oh, but you need your time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta grieve now. Like, you gotta go through it, or it's gonna chase you down and eat you alive. That's what I told him. And he was like, well, let it. I was like, oh, damn, okay. But yeah, that's what happened. We just dealt with it differently. But I will say, late at night, I would go sit outside, both of us. He would, I don't know, did you have okay, he's in his own world. But we would listen to music and vibe out. I was smoking weed at the time. So I would have my blunt. Yeah. He would have, I don't know, a cigar, maybe a little drink, I don't know. And we would just talk. Yeah. And just vibe out. And he would tell me what was on his mind, and we would talk about it. Yeah. And I thought that was so beautiful because, I don't know, that was just like our sacred time to discuss what happened with our son. And he let me know that even though he wasn't like completely dealing with it, that he is thinking about it. And he's like, well, you don't know what God was protecting us from. And he's still our angel. I'm like, oh, he's encouraging me. You know? Where I'm like worried he's going to stray away, because you never know. Like, situations like this can break people apart, or it could be really, really tough. Yeah. And it honestly brought us closer. We just kept talking. Yeah. You know, so I appreciated that, though we had different styles of going through it. And he did eventually start to deal with it more. It kind of hit him, but like we would still talk and communicate. So yeah.
That's important.
Hopefully that answered.
It did. I love that. Y'all are a good unit. You guys function well as a unit.
Well, thank you.
Let's talk about winter.
Okay.
That little girl.
She is funny.
And I'm glad that you guys, and this is just from what I can see, of course, but it seems like that's truly a rainbow baby.
Oh my God, yes.
Of course, a rainbow baby is the baby after, but when I think about rainbows, I think about sunshine. I think about like it seems like she lights up y'all's life. And she has tons of personality.
What?
I mean, both of y'all have tons of personality, so she got it honest.
Shoot, she got us beat. She got it talking.
I mean,
yeah. She is she is a complete joy. I can anytime I say her name or someone mentions her, I just automatically laugh.
Yeah.
Because she exemplifies what you just said.
Yeah.
I remember when I was pregnant with her, my mom's really good friend, close friend, she told me, just that's your joy baby. Mm-hmm. That's your joy baby. And I was like, yeah, she's my joy baby. Mm-hmm. And she completely is my joy baby. Like, she brings so much light and sunshine. She is everywhere and into everything.
Because she's how old?
She's 1. 1 in what?
And mobile.
Almost 2 months. Yes.
And mobile. And mobile. Her toothbrush and toothpaste.
Girl, what? I'm like, girl, are you gonna be a dentist? Yeah. Like, what are we doing? But as long as she got a toothbrush and a toothpaste, she is fine.
Right.
So yeah, she is the light of the world, and I honestly pray that over her.
Yeah,
all the time. Yeah. Every night, I'm always like, God, let her light up every room she walks into. Let people see you in her and through her when they look at her, and I do believe that's what she gives off. Mm-hmm. And that's the same thing I used to pray for myself.
Right.
But yeah, she is a complete joy. I really enjoy watching her grow up.
Yes.
And develop. That just brings so much happiness to our lives.
Yes.
So yeah.
Were you nervous
having her?
Finding out that you were pregnant again.
Yeah. That was a rough pregnancy.
Really?
Yeah, because I had so much anxiety.
Yeah.
And so much PTSD.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I had this Doppler to keep checking, and I checked so much.
Yeah.
And I tried to stop, like, okay, you got to trust, you got to believe. Mm-hmm. But I was going to the hospital a lot just to make sure, like, any little thing, like, I was triple checking.
Yeah.
I mean, but I had so much knowledge from the first pregnancy that I was not letting up on. I was like, y'all need to check for this, this, and that. Well, you're not coming up that y'all need to check for this, this, and that.
Yeah.
And some stuff will come up and they're like, oh my God, yeah.
Listen to Black women.
Listen to us. And so I'm just grateful that God gave me that much assertiveness to be able to, I guess, lead that whole charge of that pregnancy, because like they don't be listening. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was very nervous. Until we had her. Yeah. And they laid her on my chest or threw her on my chest. And I'm like, oh my God, she's here. Like, I didn't even cry then. I was just like, oh.
You could breathe.
Yeah. It was just a sigh of relief.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So constantly growing. That's a culmination of all of. So constantly growing is Summer and Devin's podcast that I was a guest on. But I love the name. And the name makes so much sense because every part of your journey, it's like you've leveled up, you've grown, you've every single part of the journey has been essential to where you are now, and where you are now is going to be essential. So it's, again, you're constantly growing. How did y'all decide that y'all was going to do a podcast? Because, I mean, y'all been making content since y'all got together. It seemed like I've been seeing y'all posting for years.
Yeah, I think we started really doing content maybe when we first got married. But yeah, we actually wanted to do a podcast when the pandemic first hit.
Yeah.
So back in 2020, we set our camera up in our first apartment, and we tried to do it, but the sound was terrible. It looked terrible.
Yeah.
We were like, no.
Yeah.
And so we put it on a back burner, and we just kept talking about it, like nonstop over the years. We would play around with names, and we came up with Constantly Growing, like when we maybe 2 years ago. And then we was playing around with, the soundtrack. We're going to do, what's up? Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Hey. And so we was like, because we met in college. That was the song.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to do all that. And so we kept thinking about it and putting things into the atmosphere. But we didn't take real action until we moved to Atlanta.
Yeah.
but we found the studio where we were going to record because we knew we kind of needed someone else to add to it because of us having a new child, you know what I'm saying? And
a
just
whole life, careers, all that.
Yeah. So it was just a lot of elements in order for us to be consistent.
Yeah.
We knew we needed, someone else on our team. So that's what we did. And Constantly Growing it came about from us playing around with names. We created the Instagram a while ago, and then Devin was like, let's think of a different name. I was like, what? And so I was like, you know what? Holy Spirit's like, let him do it. I was like, okay. So I let him keep thinking of stuff.
Yeah.
And he would tell me, I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And then he came back around. He was like, let's keep it the same.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And so that's what it is.
Yeah.
And we just started recording, and we are in the thick of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the thick of it.
Into the thick of it.
Yeah.
So, and it's been so fun.
Yeah.
I honestly, it's interesting because it doesn't really feel like a job. It's just something we show up and do, and we have fun doing.
Yeah.
Because we always had like really in-depth conversations with each other anyway. Like, man, maybe other people need to hear it.
Yeah.
And so it's just become such a part of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just truly grateful. I don't remember, but I came across an old journal I had, and I wrote in it. It was kind of like when I would do my prayer time, and I was writing my prayers at the time, and I wrote, I want to do a podcast with Devin, period. And I came across it, and the date, it was just really wild at the timing of it all. But the fact that, I wrote it down, like, what is it, Habakkuk 2:2 or 2:22? Oh, Lord Jesus, I don't remember the exact, but write it down and make it plain. And I wrote it down and made it plain, and it came to pass when it was supposed to. And it is just,
that part.
When
it's supposed to. It may not come when you want it, but he'll be there right on time.
Oh, I'm off beat.
Okay. I started.
Okay.
Anyway.
I can dance though. Like, give me the choreography and I'm gonna hit that.
What does peace look like to you, and how do you recharge?
Ooh. Peace for me, it looks so different now. And it can change depending on the day. A lot of times my peace comes from when I get to have no distractions, and I get to really sit in silence with the Holy Spirit. Like, I need that daily. Yeah. And if I don't get it, I feel off. And so that is my peace, to do that, to work out. I like to sit in the sauna. That's like peaceful.
I got a
portable sauna
downstairs.
Ooh, girl.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Yeah.
I don't have a portable sauna, but the sauna is everything. Ooh, I'm gonna need me one of those when we get our new house.
I see you the lunch from Amazon.
Okay, please do that. So working out, like, that helps so much with my mental health.
Yeah.
Time with the Lord.
Yeah. And the recharge piece, that all of those two, working out.
Yes, that is like my peace and my recharge.
And that's why I like to ask them together, because a lot of times you find peace through the recharge. Yeah. Like, I know for a fact, like how I said earlier, I'm so excited about Monday. You said, why? I said, because I ain't doing nothing. Because that's my time to, when I'm around a lot of people, I need to, I love people. I love being around people. But because I'm empathic, like I feel people in a way. And so I come home, I sit in here, I'll sit outside, I'll ground. I'm country girl at heart, so I'm gonna walk outside with no shoes on. I like to just connect with the earth. Like, that's so important to me. Yes, it is. And I work out too. Yeah. That's my therapy right there. I'm not actually in therapy right now. I have been, but when I go to the gym and I'm feeling however I'm feeling, by the time I leave the gym, I might still think about it a little bit, but that release,
it's not as heavy.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Tell me something that is random about you that nobody would ever think of. Kind of like when Devin said you got that random YouTube video of you
singing. My God. Yeah.
But something random.
Okay. Oh, I don't know if this is gonna be a fun random, but it's the first thing that popped into my head. And because of what you just said.
Okay.
So I actually think you were in this play when we were in high school.
Broken.
Yep.
I was
that slave play. You went in.
Everybody else was in it, but me. I didn't get casted, girl.
What?
Yeah, it was. It was a whole thing. I was like, well, guess I'll take my talent somewhere else.
Oh my God! Yeah. I could have sworn no.
I wasn't in it. I came and saw it though. It was interesting.
Okay, we ain't gonna get into it because I just don't understand that. But yeah, I was in that. Let me not call it the slave play. Unbroken.
I mean, it was called Unbroken.
The slave musical.
Something.
Why didn't we question that? I know. Okay, let me not. All right, because I have so many thoughts. But
in hindsight,
yeah. So anyway, they wanted me to sing, and I had never sang in front of anybody before, and how I really tried to dodge that. I really did. And then they were like, no. And so I was like, okay, I have to go find my voice. So I started like looking up so many different singers that sung in like lower registers. Because I figured, okay, I know I am not Mariah Carey. Okay. And so I remember finding a video of Billie Holiday. And I think it was Strange Fruit.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let me try this out. And I was like, oh, okay, I could kind of carry that if I, a little jazz. And so I remember I went back to school and I was so intimidated because there was so many like really good singers in this play, and we all had to do like music rehearsal together. And I just was too nervous to do it. Yeah. And I pulled one of my friends to the side who was an actor and a singer. And I was like, okay, let me say these words to you and you tell me if this is good, because I really don't know. Okay. And he was like, that sounds good. And I was like, oh, for real? But I was still so nervous. And they ended up just saying, just dance. And I was like, I'm checking out. And I have never forgot that. And I think that's part of the reason I made that YouTube video.
Oh, it was in response.
Yes.
I can't sing.
I can sing.
Forget what y'all talking about.
I ain't y'all, but I can do something. And so, yeah, that is really random. It's not anything I go around saying.
No, but
I don't like failing. And I felt like, damn, like, I didn't rise to the occasion.
But your calling is in so many other places.
Yes, that is just not. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I got casted in something, like, okay, let me work with a vocal coach. Yeah. But like,
that's so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to laugh at your
girl.
pain.
Laugh at it. Laugh at it. Laugh at it.
That's hilarious. Oh my God.
I was like, oh my God. They was like, just go dance. I was like, oh my God, they're gonna kick me out. But yeah.
But you still stayed in the video.
Yeah, I did.
In the slave musical.
In that slave musical.
Ryan sang that song, got me a quarter.
He did.
Yes, that's the only thing I remember from that play. I remember going to see it though. I definitely was there.
Yeah. Oh, I remember they wanted me to kiss somebody, and I was like,
that.
We in high school, I just didn't
very
feel
cringe thinking back to why did Davidson allow that?
I don't know. I really don't.
Wow. That's wild.
It is. I mean, it was. I don't remember.
I realized a lot of stuff after leaving Davidson.
Yep.
That but
I ain't gonna. Let's not.
We're not.
it's a great
but
place. I enjoyed my time there.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
But I realized being a Black girl in America, a lot of things. Yep. I got this question that I ask everybody. We're coming toward the end of the interview. Okay. Clearly, we're in a sea of green.
Yes, we are.
So, and this is to whatever your interpretation is. What does green mean to you?
Oh, green means vitality. Mm-hmm. Green means growth. Yeah. Green means prosperity. Yeah. Green means, because plants, they grow from this soil and they bloom into something so beautiful, and you don't even know exactly how they're going to come out. Like, you have some plants that have a little discoloration, but they're still beautiful and they serve their purpose. Green is like our human experience.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a new one, y'all. We ain't got that one yet. No, for real though,
it is. Yeah. It is. It's like our human experience. Like, we may come out scathed at times, or have a few bumps and bruises, but we're still beautiful. We still have a purpose to serve while we're here, and we still have a calling. They're called to bring air into your room. They're called to look like life. Yeah. And so that's what green means to me.
I love that. Mm-hmm. You just said a lot of stuff that I love. I really hate to bring it to a close, but we are here. Tell the people how they can get in contact with you, where they can follow you, where they can get this good book.
Yes.
The podcast, all of the things. If you have anything else that you have coming up, let the people know.
Sure. Okay. So you can, excuse me. Oh, burping. All right. You can find my book on Amazon. You go in there, you type in No Love Lost. You'll see my picture come up on the screen. It'll say by Summyr Wright-Nelson, and you can order the book there. It has the entire story. And it's super inspirational, and it actually journeys my relationship with God too. So that's,
you look gorgeous on the cover. Girl.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, girl. Thank you. I actually had to take that cover twice.
Really?
Yes, because the first time I rushed it, and God was like, that's not what I told you to do.
Yeah.
Do that again.
Listen.
Yeah. Anyway. So, yes, you can find my book on Amazon. You can find me, Summertime, SUMMYRTYME, on Instagram. Also, you can find me on TikTok. You can find my podcast with my husband, Constantly Growing Pod, on Instagram, also on TikTok, also on YouTube. Type in Constantly Growing Podcast, and we will pop up in our black, brown, and cream colors. And click on there, watch all of the videos we have done so far. You'll find our interview with Brittany on there. It is a special one. It is so good. So many gems. It is by far probably one of my favorites. Oh yeah, because I enjoyed that. I enjoyed listening to her story and all the gems that she drops. Because honey, yeah, low key you pass it, but we understand, like, that is not, you could be a teacher and an inspirer and an inspiration and someone who encourages without being a pastor. Okay. So yes, you can find all of our episodes there, and I think that's it. Yeah.
I saw you dancing recently.
Oh yeah.
What was?
Oh, okay. So, I'm here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I'm on a mission.
Yeah.
So I have immersed myself back into the performing arts as a whole.
Yes.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, I am not. When I show up to them gates, God need to be like, thank you, my good and faithful servant. Your
you
cup
used
is
all of it.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. You emptied it all out. Good job. Well done. So, I have immersed myself back in the performing arts. I just did a showcase. Was that last weekend or the weekend before? And that was so exciting. And I felt like I was back at Davidson. Yeah. So, and I did a monologue on stage. And I'm just getting myself out there and in front of the people I need to be in front of. And I believe God is going to do the rest.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just doing what I have to do, doing the work.
Yep.
But I'm leaving the rest up to him. I do believe that I am in the right place. Even the woman in the couple that owns it's AGI Entertainment. Mm-hmm. They put this showcase together for creatives to come and showcase their talent, but we go through a boot camp.
Yeah.
The adults go through like a 1-week boot camp, and it's called Anointed Gifts International, something like that. Mm-hmm. Man, I hate butchering names, especially in businesses, but yeah. And she is part of the reason that I went ahead and came to Atlanta. I took a virtual workshop with her back in January, and I was like, oh, I'm thinking about moving to Atlanta. She's like, Summyr, stop saying and thinking and just do. And I was like,
I appreciate people like that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I need that.
Yeah.
Be a straight shooter.
Yeah.
So I talked to my husband. I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to go for real. And he was like, okay, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. So he called the realtor, and he was like, we're going to sell our house. Within 30 days, our house sold. We got the provision to come here, and we took a leap of faith and moved to Atlanta, moved ourselves, no jobs, our baby, and and we're here. And so the rest is up to God. I mean, it's been up to him from the beginning. So yeah, my life is literally a walk of faith.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at. That's what that was about.
It.
Yeah.
Summyr, thank you so much for coming to In the Green Room, girl. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. We just sit here chatting. Mm-hmm. The girls are talking.
Yes.
You know, pretty in pink. You know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That would be a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
I already know you got it.
It's, I got on the green to your pink today.
You know. Okay, you ain't got the blue on, but it's fine.
I don't wear blue that much. For real, no. It's just people. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is, okay?
Blowing up on Instagram.
Right.
Strong.
But no, again, thank you so much for coming, talking to me, letting my people know who you are. I'm proud of you. I've loved seeing you blossom and grow and live your life in light. I've been rooting for you since I met you. I was at Summyr's 16th birthday party, whooping Rico with Eric and Janae.
You sure were? I have pictures.
Yeah,
they're somewhere. Girl. That's crazy.
Like, yeah. So.
Oh Lord. And that all white.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So for the long haul, you are welcome.
Thank you, because I want to come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
All that good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for tuning in to this episode of In the Green Room. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that good stuff. Y'all know this season we are not only on YouTube, but we are on Spotify. So make sure you subscribe and all of those things. Share the word. Let people know that we are in the green room and everything is better in green. And there is always green, y'all. Okay. So tune in next week. I got another special guest for y'all. I can't wait to share some more gems. We're going to rewatch this episode over and over and over again because Summyr got something to say. Y'all know.
Listen and tune in and share.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
No problem, girl. All right, y'all. See y'all next week. Bye. Make sure you join us next week, same place, same time, for yet another episode of In the Green Room podcast. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Spotify.